Devotional Moments website and listening to this devotional today. This is the week of the 4th of July. It's the week that we celebrate our independence as a nation. And I'd like to share just a couple thoughts with you about independence and about this celebration this week. Several years ago, I invited a missionary, a lady who had done short-term missions in Papua New Guinea, to come and speak to a group of senior adults at our church. And as she came and she spoke, she shared about her time as a missionary in Papua New Guinea and all the ways that God used her in short-term missions there. And it just so happened that in that group of senior adults were a couple men who had been stationed in Papua New Guinea, and when Papua New Guinea had actually been occupied by the Japanese. And these older men had actually participated in the fight with the Japanese to free Papua New Guinea from tyranny, from occupation. And what I found fascinating as they had this conversation right before me was that these men who had just served faithfully in the military had gone where they were ordered to go and fought as they were ordered to fight. They served their country faithfully and honorably. But what their fight accomplished was to free a people from tyranny and occupation and pave the way all those years later for this young lady to be able to be free to come and serve in Papua New Guinea as a short-term missionary and to teach Jesus to these people. And I thought that moment was such a beautiful moment, that these men who all those years ago had just served their country and fought for freedom and had no idea, really, probably it never occurred to them that they were fighting to free a nation so that later missionaries from America could come and share the gospel. But that's exactly what happened. Because of their faithfulness in exercising their call as a soldier to do what they did, this young lady had the freedom to come and share the gospel. And so this was a beautiful conversation that took place between these senior adult men and this young lady who had served faithfully as a missionary. Both individuals had served faithfully in what God had called them to do. But I thought that was a beautiful sort of image of how God has called us as a nation to use our independence, to use our strength, to use our opportunity to fight, to do good in the world, and trust God to faithfully follow up and spread the gospel. The gospel is a message of peace and inner peace in our hearts. The gospel is a message of freedom. The gospel is a message that those who have suffered from not the tyranny of a government, but the tyranny of sin and this broken world in our hearts, the gospel is a message that we can experience peace in our lives because the battle has been fought ahead of time for us by Christ, so that we can live and enjoy the peace and freedom that He affords us. And so my challenge for you today is to consider how this week, as we celebrate the 4th of July and independence in our nation, is there cause for you to celebrate independence in your heart, not from a government tyranny, but from the tyranny of sin? Has the Savior set your heart free? And so this week could be a week in which you celebrate the freedom of our nation, but also the freedom of your heart, and this opportunity that God has given us to exercise the influence of our nation, to do good in this world, and to pave the way for God to be faithful in the way that He is always so faithful to build His kingdom, and we get to be a part of it.